Hi, and welcome back to Creating Trance. This episode is about drums, percussion, rhythm, filtering, bussing using reverb, and sidechaining. Sidechaining is one of the most important parts of trance, and sometimes it's pulled straight from the kick drum, hats, or any other type of rhythm instrument. All right, here we go. All right, let's add a Kong drum designer. I'll find a good sample for it. Something a little more electronic. That sounds good. Okay, let's paint in just a basic 4-bar rhythm here. Loop it. Actually, let's make it even shorter. 1 bar. Pretty much the basic of the basics right here. Let me spread this out a little bit and then we'll start to put a couple effects on here. I'll add the envelope controlled filter. It automatically drops in with the frequency cut, so I'll open it back up. Let's automate some of this. Adding resonance always kinds of lets the sound kind of bounce around inside of the closed filter. Something you always kind of want to add if you really want to bring it out. You don't have to, but it definitely brings out some of the mid-range. Notice the progression here. Get a little faster. Okay, let's bring the loop in here for now. Still kind of boring. Let's add in a little hi-hat movement. Gonna pick the Pop Kit 2. This is the one I like to use. Sounds nice and crunchy. Here we go. It's kind of cool. Let's separate the hat from the kick itself. So what we'll do is we'll go to Utilities, the inspector, add a new mixer channel. Let's rename it hi-hats. And then as long as we have one of the 3 selected, because it still stays with the same beat here, because they're all different stages, you can set the drum output to another channel. So it won't run through the main out, it'll run through 3 and 4, which is what I've set it to. Okay, to make it clearer. Okay, flip this back around. Let's name this, actually, let's name it MPC. So the hat should now not be affected by the filter. There we go. Now let's bus the MPC through a reverb. So we can do a lot with that in terms of effects. Turn it up a little bit, make the EQ really high. I haven't turned the send effects on yet. I'm just kind of setting up this reverb. Let's delete these 3. We don't need these. And I'll put an envelope controlled filter on the reverb here. Notice the effects send and return, just the order of how it's run through. We'll go to the mixer here. Turn the send on, turn it up a little bit. It's probably going to be too much, but let's see what this comes out to be. Now I'm going to turn the filter on it way down. Then we'll let it lift alongside. Always try and lower the resonance when you're opening a high pass filter. Well, in this case, it's a low pass. So a little bit too much on the send. Pretty cool, right? Adds a little bit of ambience to the sound here. So what I'll do now is I'll add a snare in here, which I'll just normally play on the second and fourth of the bar. Let's also run the snare out on its own channel, but let's first find a cool snare. Oh, that's nice. I'll turn it down a little bit. You can hear it hitting the FX send. But we're going to send it out its own channel. Let's do 5 and 6. Go to Utilities in the Inspector. Add a new mixer channel. Flip this around. We'll run it. Run the routing up there. Now it's not sending any more to the reverb. But we will change that with this simple turn it out a little bit. Probably even a little bit more. Okay, let's add another lane here. I'm going to automate these sends to... Actually, it might be easier. Because you can automate the send here. If you want to just cut it. It might even be easier to automate just the button itself. So we'll just have it set to off, which completely cuts it. If you were to set it up here, that would be a bypass, which would still let the sound pass through, which would double up your sound, which is not what you want. Okay, let's listen to this back. Notice how it completely cut the bus channel up there. Pretty cool effect. So let's go from a kick dominant rhythm to a snare dominant rhythm and try a different filtering technique. We'll put the loop around this one. So what I'll do is I will slowly turn up the send instrument. Let's first create automation lanes for them. Move this over a little bit. Let's just keep these together. Getting a tiny bit more intense here. Gonna want to create a side chain. Normally I use a red drum computer to do that. There's two ways you can do it though. You can drop a compressor into the effects here and then put the drum machine in there as well. What I started doing when there's a lot of things that need to be side chained, which you'll hear today, which is an important part, I'll just put the compressors in both. They'll kind of lose a tiny bit of volume, but only up until the point when you connect the sidechain. You can always note that you can hold down shift right before you drop an instrument, and it will not connect it to anything. See? Nothing connected here. It's always really helpful when you're moving around quickly. So what I'll do is I'll take this signal, I'm going to split it, and send it to both of these sidechain ends. Turn up the ratio, pull back the threshold a little bit. I'm going to automate the run here. Ooh, I'll also put one on the reverb bus itself. You can kind of hear it. Okay, let's play back this whole section here. So a couple different changes. Trance doesn't involve super advanced percussion, but it involves a lot more routing and sidechain control, especially filter control, depending on certain parts of the song. Like drops will bring the filter all the way down here, even lower. When you do the same thing with a bass line, they sound really good together. It's very danceable moments, and then that leaves a lot of room in the higher frequency to put other things in, eventually. Notice how the reverb effects is pulsating with the sidechain. Pretty cool. Very simple, but definitely needed. Okay, let's get dramatic here with the reverb channel. This is always fun to do. We'll bring the decay up towards the very end of this as a transitional element. We'll have to add a little more volume to the send. And these aren't perfectly lined up, but close enough for the tutorial. All right. Some of these might be too steep, but it's really just a matter of experimenting. Every project's always going to be a little bit different. I'll just turn them all up. Add more to the reverb effects. It's like a wind tunnel that immediately seals up at one instance. Go a little crazier. People love these effects too. They're quick, they're unexpected, and it really sets you up for a nice beat section that you can drop in, or some epic chord combination. Pretty cool. Now we can take it even further. Let's see here. Now remember, we're just using percussion here. Oh, wrong side. Okay. Take the out. I'm going to create a little rolling delay out of the very tip of this reverb cut. Go in here. I always kind of jump right to the dubstep PP roller. Pretty good tool. Turn the frequency up a little bit. Each delay will have a lower cut, more so. Each time that it hits. Ping pong it out a little bit more. You always want to leave it completely wet, and it sounds fine right now until you use the roll mechanism, which you can automate. And let's do that now. Zoom in here, we'll catch, go way in here. This might be enough. Let's see. So it's going to roll all the way until this section comes in. But wait, I'm going to take it one step further. There's another Studio Effects tool in here called the Neptune Pitch Adjuster. You can use it for pretty much anything. It's kind of a vocoder, so I would assume vocals, but really it's just another device that you can route your audio through. So let's kill the output here. Send the audio in. Send it back out all the way up to the effects return. I'm going to turn off all this vocal stuff here. I'm going to change the range as high as we can go. We'll automate a range. So at the same time it rolls, the pitch is going to climb more and more. This is a whole lot of fun. Let it sit flat for 1/8. And then we climb. Right there, okay. Hope this turns out right. Let's take a listen. Pretty cool, right? And effects like this, pitch draws, pitch bending, it doesn't have to conform to any kind of quarter scale because it's always just moving through the notes, all of them. One more time, this is just so much fun to hear. So with trance drums and effects, it really comes down to making something simple, like just a kick, a simple hi-hat rhythm, and some kind of clap or snare or both. One more thing I want to show you though is building something in reverse, like reverse clap, something you could put every other bar. All right, let's stop the playback here. All right, that sounds all right. Let's first pick a different clap. Also, know that if you change the output and then later you go and change a sample, it's going to revert it back to the master effects. Let me just show you here what I mean. So I'll just 7 and 8. It changes if I pick something else back to master effects. And it does this because each one of these that you pick is a setting in here, including this. So find the clap that you want to use or other sample that you want to use first before you change the drum output channel. Well, that might sound good for a reverse. So let's do 7, 8. We'll add another mixing channel. Okay, so let's route this, and then we will put the advanced reverb in there. I always kind of go all the way down to the bottom and pick the reverse, one of the reverse settings. And you can lock it to tempo, it makes it way easier to track. Let's see what this sounds like. That's pretty cool. On top of this, you're going to love this part. This is the best thing. So you pump it into the effects reverb and it snaps in a room. Pretty cool. There we go. Kind of a cold reverb, but that's okay for now. Not a major thing. So let's add a new lane and add some of these in. We'll put it on the last bar, which would be... Then in the beat here, we'll double up on it. And then in this section, we will go back to 2-bar movements. Okay. Let's have a listen. Could probably turn it down a little bit. This just adds to the reverb bus though. Add some chords and a bass line and you've got yourself some trance. Drums really are the most important part of the song. Even if you don't call them drums, the beat, the rhythm, and controlling it. Making more dynamic trance is really dependent on where the percussion goes. Thanks for watching.